It being 6:35, I will, on January 17th, 2023, I'll call to order the meeting of the Carver Redevelopment Authority. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The first thing I have is the Route 44 project update. There isn't really a lot to update on just yet. I know that George McLaughlin or his engineer in Route 44 went before the planning board to rescind his old plan and have a new perimeter plan that you've always wanted.
Yeah, but I'm trying to question the name subdivision, kind of scares me.
It's not what you think.
Well, it's only one name rings me in my
Yeah,
apartments.
yeah, I know. It's just a technical kind of term
Well,
that,
I hope it's only technical and it's
Yeah.
not realistic.
no. He was creating a new perimeter plan.
Okay.
And erasing,
227 acres, I think.
and erasing the old ones. And you can see that plan on the town hall website under planning department, under their icon that, or their tag that says plans under review or not under review. Anyway, the Route 44 plans are there.
What was the action of the planning board on that?
They voted, they gave it some minor conditions that were, proof that he owns these other parcels, which were things like, I think it must have been things like the Tassinari parcel and the, I forgot the name, Tusher. Their parcel, the Coon parcel, only not the Plimpton side, but the Carver side, and so he needed to prove that he owned those, which is no problem. And he needed to prove that there were no mortgages on it, which
Okay.
was no problem. So they approved the perimeter plan, the rescission of the old plan and substituting it with this plan,
With the preliminary subdivision?
with the preliminary subdivision.
Okay.
So-
The preliminary, what's it called? Preliminary subdivision / rescission plan.
Right.
Okay, so that locks in zoning.
I'm not sure. I was hoping Tom Bott might wander down here today, but he's...
I was under the impression from Mr. Bott that it locks
I-
in zoning for 8 years.
I do believe that, but I don't want to misstate it, because he says they're going to come in with another plan.
Who's they?
George. But I believe that if that's true, what that does is lock in the current zoning, which is everything we passed in 2022. We've all received information that there is a movement to rescind all of those bylaws. In fact, they're discussing it upstairs tonight in the select board.
In 20 minutes.
Is it at 7?
Really?
Yeah.
We're gonna all run
I was
up
actually
there.
going to send you up
Okay.
if you wanted to go.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
hurry up,
You
get
do?
him up
Oh,
there.
oh, sure.
Appoint him now.
I was going to see if Savory wanted to go up, because I had a quorum, and we
good.
don't really have a lot of heavy-duty stuff on it
I
tonight.
got time. I
Yeah.
should probably be up there 10 minutes of.
Okay.
Just in case they're ahead of schedule, but.
Okay. Point of fact, I think I copied you onto it. I did send a note to Mark Townsend and Bob Fennessy concerning the annual town meeting articles that are going to be discussed tonight. They're not being voted on, and this isn't the usual appropriate time when they vote whether articles go on the warrant. I'm not really sure what this discussion is.
Well, she's doing it as a private citizen. This is a citizen's petition. So she's just telling them.
Is she the same she that,
Jen
No,
Bogarts?
this is Jen Bogart.
oh my God.
She's doing all of these as a citizen,
I believe so.
To rescind those?
but we don't do, I didn't believe Select Board did hearings on citizens petition.
I think that.
That's
petitions.
private
They don't.
petition, yeah,
Yeah,
their
they
own
don't.
petition.
Anyway, what an email I sent,
Better go up there.
you stay here.
Town meeting placeholder by Jen Bogart for the repeal of the following zoning changes. Maybe not.
I don't know if it's a placeholder or she's discussing it as what we've heard, and is that someone in the town hall put forth this. I don't know who. I've never been told.
It's on the agenda, her name.
Jen Bogarts, that's the first I've seen that someone in the town hall wanted these heard, because this started coming up about 3 weeks ago. So I believe, going back to the letter that I sent to Mark Townsend and Bob Tennessee, was that as they discuss all of them, originally I thought it was only the 45, the 40,
building height.
the building height, and then when I saw the agenda, it was all of them.
Oh, my God.
So what I sent, and I copied Savory on, is that I only asked them to consider the fact that one of them, which was former Article 13, I believe, changed the zoning designations of several parcels that were originally all part, they're in here,
They were not commercial.
but they were still highway commercial because he had not purchased them yet. So now these are parcels that he had purchased, that Route 44 Development had purchased by last April, and we rezoned the handful of parcels that were all part of our original URP, for the people at home, into the Green Business Park. So there is really no reason to deal with that one, just on a technical merit, because it's all in the, some of them are really far out in the back end of the parcel, but this was all part of the original plan. So that was the only one I was prepared to take issue with right away, because it was just,
So,
go ahead.
so why are they trying to break it back down from the, what is it, 65 to the 40 feet? What is the reasoning for that one?
Well,
No one's discussed it with me. Go ahead.
I would, like, you, both of you were both on the committee going, all the URP discussions and everything.
Oh, yeah.
But what's the rationale? You can, and Savory, you know, as well as you, Sharon, so all the more power to you to be there tonight.
Well, what I understand, and I've only heard this third party, the rationale is that now that Hillwood has backed out or terminated their agreement, then there's no reason to go forward with bylaws that are perceived to have benefited one developer.
That's wrong. I'm sorry.
I know.
That in fact makes it for one developer. By leaving them in there, it opens it up to any.
It opens them up
Absolutely, I
to
was just-
everyone.
That's
What
absolutely
is wrong
contrary
with
to
that
what
woman?
the reason is.
The idea, and
getting
if you
paid?
go back to the tape, when we finally were able to speak, I think Savory was usually fairly vocal and stressed the idea that these make this a more attractive site to what is the current market and marketplace. That has not changed. Financing the current marketplace may have changed a little bit, or Hillwood's finances may have changed a little bit, but nothing about what we did then was specific for Hillwood. It was meant to be all developers. However, the perception being what it is that these bylaws were only meant for Hillwood. Hillwood cut the CBE, which we no longer have, or the CBA, the Community Benefits Agreement, which we no longer have. But that doesn't mean that that wasn't a blueprint to go forward with the next possible developer.
And I think the word is a blueprint.
Yeah.
That's basically what
That's-
I would tell them. It's a blueprint.
In my view, nothing has changed.
Well, we need our RDA representation.
We're gonna send him out.
And
But,
there's-
go ahead.
And there's no way to get Hillwood back?
What did he say?
I said there's no way to get Hillwood back?
That seems
Hillwood
to
on
have,
top of,
that seems to have been a discussion between Route 44 Development and Hillwood. I have had conversations with Mac in the past 2 months, and while he's interested in the going on about the change, returning the bylaws back, he has assured me that they are out.
They
They
were
are
They're
out.
out, Hillwood.
Hillwood is out.
out.
They're building in Middleborough,
Middleborough.
but they are out. There are rumors around town, none of them come from the RDA, that Hillwood is still in it. That is not our understanding. Our understanding is solely what we read at our last meeting, the statement, that Hillwood backed out for a variety of reasons, mostly based on economics. We do know that George McLaughlin, owner of Route 44, would not extend their P&S for an additional time that they felt they needed, and that's where it terminated. To my knowledge, it's not because of PFAS, it's not because of, the planning board, isn't going to permit this. It wasn't anything other than what we have been told by Hillwood, that it was due to economics, a change in the direction, and Carver's still a great site to develop. And I know there's been a lot of speculation, but as far as the RDA is concerned, and we are still in charge of this project, that it was not anything other than an economic decision on their part.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have anything to add to that?
No.
No.
No?
Pretty clear.
Should I head up?
Yes, I wish you would.
Absolutely.
If we're still here, come back and report.
I will,
If not, I'll talk to you.
because it's Wade Street.
Oh, well,
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Wade
that's
Street.
right. Well, I
Oh,
think-
yeah. I have to talk to you about that,
you do?
All right.
but that's more important, though.
I think that was basically what I wanted to say about the ATM update, the annual town meeting update that was underneath on Route 44. So my total in summation of Route 44 is that they've put in a perimeter plan. I will confirm with Tom Bott whether this locked in the zoning for 8 years, which makes the annual town meeting reversal of the bylaws essentially moot, but I don't know that for certain yet.
Oh, wow. Could I add one thing?
Yes, you may.
And although Savory's not here, I wanted to talk about the website. I noticed Paul's here.
Oh, the Route 44 website.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about that simply because I went on it because I wanted the commercial, in other words, in the Carver side, it had this commercial land for sale, and I wanted that off. It hadn't been off.
Oh, I don't,
And I know Savory was, I had given Savory this information, but for somehow or other, it just didn't get
that's
there.
on,
So I got to Paul, if you don't mind, I got to Paul and I said, Paul, please take this off, and which he did do now, and he took it off. But when I was on the site, it says go to carverrda.info, and I go to carverrda.info, and I find this, under home, it says, our mission is to research and deliver vital information through free online directories, print publications, and events, yada, yada, yada. This effort is for addicts and alcoholics, including their families, friends, and and I'm saying, whoa, what is this? What is this?
that's news to me.
The only updates.
I got your email that was,
The question is just from me on it, and just to fill in.
Yep.
Because I gave some of the answers to Joanne. That Savory had contacted me saying we no longer have that Hillwood thing, so
right,
basically the funds are drying up, so just
scrub it.
take it, scrub it.
Yep.
And my recommendation at the last meeting, or actually the 2 meetings ago, was that we at least leave the domain
Right.
hosting, because it's already paid for, and might
Right.
as well just let it tick away.
Right.
Until you decide what happens.
Well, we may have to activate it again, we don't know.
Who knows?
Right,
But at least it's tougher to start from scratch.
exactly.
We would lose probably, we would lose the RDA.info. So I asked Paul,
Somebody else takes it.
if you don't mind, Paul said to me November 2nd and 18th, 2023, I asked him when it was going to run out, and he says for domain and hosting, next payment's due. So before November 2nd and 18th, we as a committee If nothing happens on a more positive thing to put it back on,
It will just
you just,
fall
wa-
off the cliff.
I don't want it to fall. Maybe you might not want the hosting, but at least keep the domain. We'll never get that back.
Hosting is kind of the place where the website is,
Well,
outside of.
all right, so then in
computer.
October, we should have a discussion if nothing's moving on urban. We need to have a discussion whether we're gonna keep it or what's going. But meanwhile, what is the silliness? No, I don't wanna call it
Well,
silliness.
the wording,
The-
what happened after that.
Yeah.
In the last week, Savory had contacted me saying, this is the wording that I want on the site. These are the 3 pages within the site to keep, everything else get rid of. And I dropped in literally what he wrote.
That
And
doesn't even,
that's it.
it doesn't
That's-
come close to who we are, what we do.
Because he's been my point person.
Right.
He says, put it in, I put it in.
Okay.
So that's,
I'm hoping that's a mistake.
But the,
Look, we'll fix it.
Yeah.
whichever, it can be if somebody emails me what you specifically.
No, not
want.
somebody, Savory and Sharon. I'm gonna put Sharon on charge.
Okay.
Come on, Sharon.
so much
You
else
have
to do.
nothing to do, right?
but that information can be archived, right? We can put it into an archive and like take it off there, copy it down to our server somewhere and archive it in case it
That
needs
is
to be
possible.
Maybe
reactivated
Roger
later.
should talk to
And
him.
it can be downloaded, right? And archived somewhere, backed up.
Yeah, I mean, it can be reassembled.
Yes, and somewhere else, and even have like, one of the links that we have on our website, like archive, and put it as like one of the projects that's no longer,
But it's separate from the town one,
Yeah, right.
which was one of the original things, is
Right.
one of the original requests.
to keep it separate.
To keep it, to make
Even if
sure
you
that
archive
it's
it and do it like a
separate. Because there
backup
is-
or
all the
link.
technical information still is available on the government site. But any of the updates or any of the other language or pictures, they were all going through the other, because they just wanted to go more direct.
So,
That's-
through the committee,
That answers.
I'd like to make a motion, until this is resolved, to have Paul go on to the Carver website and delete that link. It should not be there. It's ridiculous because it's wrong, right or wrong, I don't care, that link should not be there at this point. So I would like to make a motion to have Paul just go to the Carver MA, because it's on that first page, and just get rid of that link.
I don't think we need to make a motion to do this, but I think we can ask Savory, when he comes back from his other duties, maybe, since he's not here to tell us the process that he used in picking out those, it sounds like just boilerplate stuff that he got from somewhere, or
Where,
whatever it is she's reading.
I
that-
think, well, there's a couple different things. There's the page, there's the stuff on the wording on the front page. That came as a text from me that I dropped in, that I put in.
Okay.
I substituted what was already there.
Okay,
There's it, that's the page. You click on
The
home,
next thing that she's talking about is on the Carver.
the Carver
NA
page,
dot
which everybody goes to.
Site. Well, numbers kind of say differently, but
Well, it's the
I-
Carver website. It belongs to
it should
the,
be.
yeah, right. And people do peruse it.
But according to the
Sounds like Board of Health
breakdowns,
stuff.
most people are coming
Yeah.
from just Google as a whole
exactly.
and trying to find out where most of the information is. But whatever you wish, so the only clarification is there's the website questions, which is the .info stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also the government page
Mm-hmm.
where your thing. And I think the link at the end of that is what you're talking about, just eliminating. That's easy enough to be able to do.
Yeah, on the carverma.gov
It's just
website.
It's just a separate, because we had kind of the two. We had one that was just talking about, these are the motions, these are the specifics, and then one is more of the selling of the project. And answering questions, things like that.
edited out. That made it into some,
I mean, do you understand
Yeah, it
computers and?
needs to be, it can be deleted from there. It shouldn't be on there anyway. Whether that was in the format of that, would you see it as a link
This
to
is what
something
she's
else or
talking
just paste
about.
it in there?
Yeah, that's-
wanna
do
come
you wanna
and take a look
see
at
this?
The front page?
Yeah, with
Yeah, and
the,
it-
with the addiction and
The
the,
bullets on the side, that must be from, like, must have been.
That is part
That
of
was
the
from
Board of
him?
Health page.
That's
It's
what?
called a
That
page.
link, well, that's what, the Board of Health has that stuff posted for
It
addiction.
does?
That's a Board of Health?
That shouldn't be on. the
That shouldn't be on
No.
You know what I
ours.
mean? Like, that's a form they copied and inserted what,
Yeah.
The Board
I
of Health?
think it was
Savory
just
had.
a-
The other stuff should have been blocked out.
Savory sent it to me, said put this in substitution of the other.
Okay, well, you know what?
Yeah, that needs to be removed now.
I'll talk to Savory, you talk to Savory, and then we'll get this straightened out, but thank you for bringing it to
That
our
should be
attention
inserted.
because,
But meanwhile, I can get rid of that link on the.
On the Carver page?
Okay.
Yes, please do.
That's
Yep.
easy enough
Please
to
do.
I can-
apparently that's
Yeah,
what,
that's what you
that's
look
what
at
Joanna wants.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I don't want people to read that.
And that's, has nothing to do.
It's not what we do.
I know, that's right. When I read it, I go, yo, did my plan
You know what
change?
she's talking about, right? Like, you can see.
It's the front page copy stuff.
So,
Yeah, all I did, and I didn't honestly
What's her
get
name?
into the
Thinks
details
that's
of
Board of
reading
Health?
it.
Yeah,
He said this is
Oh,
what I
wow,
want
how
on
the hell
front
did that
page, and I
frickin'
put it
page,
on.
that's our website.
He
We don't
probably
even have the
thought you were
same
gonna copy that, the
monitoring.
other stuff
In
and
other
bla-
words,
bla-
our
remove
domain
the other
in
stuff
.info
and
and
just
the
have
people
that
that
one
he's
paragraph.
employed.
He probably didn't realize.
What did Savory
you
give
were
him, a
inserting
link?
into one text
He
box,
must
and the
have
other
said
text
something
box,
wrong.
we're gonna remain.
Whichever-
okay,
whichever
we'll
way.
take care of it.
Good.
But
Moving on.
per Joanna's concerns that you and Savory can get together and put that back, put
Yeah,
that on
this
Savory's.
has got to
seat.
be on Savory's thing.
But I did see that you had, you had put in some billing, and what we're trying to do is close down the Hillwood account and send them back.
Recording. It varies on,
Yeah,
but it seems like I've been technically off the clock for a month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah.
something like that.
well, if you end up doing any work for us, then bill us directly, so. Not that Hillwood is asking me for any of their $9,000 back.
Oh, yeah, that's
But
right.
I did tell, when I talked to Mac last, I did say that we had finalized
We still
our
have some
accounting.
cleanup.
Yeah, we still had some cleanup, and he was fine. He sent me an address, and that was it. I forget where it was, but I'll give that to Pat at some point. All right, is there anything else on Route 44 right
No,
now?
those are the two, that was it.
Okay. We'll go into Wade Street. I did meet with the Conservation Commission on the 4th, where we actually just had the public hearing. The first time I went in front of them was just a discussion point. So this was actually the public hearing for Wade Street. The Conservation Commission is perfectly amenable. They were voting to accept the parcel, and it's contingent on our getting a survey done. I did ask, Art Borden sent me an updated, that's what this is.
Yeah.
Art Borden, who'll be doing the survey for us. I did ask him that in the course of his survey, if he did happen to see an encroachment, to make a note of a distance from, say, the closest point of a building to the lot line. So if it's 5 feet, if it's 20 feet, just make a notice. I did not ask him to parcel it off.
Okay.
And until that survey comes in, then I'm booked again to go to the Concom on the 1st of February, I think is one of their meetings. And we just agreed, we'd just continue it until I had the survey. So when I had the Mylar from, and it's to be set up to be a recordable survey, so that's where that is. We got a really good quote from Borden Survey, and I'm very happy to keep it in town. So I don't know if they've been out there yet.
I haven't seen it.
Are you just, Brian, are you here to just, do you have something you need to say? This would be the time?
I came here because I saw it on your agenda.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen anybody that looked like you were looking at me for an answer. So-
Oh, I didn't know if you had seen, he said, I gave him till the 2nd, to the 1st, but I said there's kind of no rush because The Concom needs to hunt down some missing money. That's somewhere in the town hall. So, I think we should all fan out and look for it right now.
Good luck.
But, so there's really, you know, he wants to be able to do the survey. I think it's kind of an extensive one. They are going to put in the 8 boundaries, the 8 stone boundaries on the corners.
Did you mention my benchmark?
Your benchmarks? Oh, looking for the benchmarks, I sent that to him too.
Okay.
So that's just going forward to, you know, whenever it's done. I didn't know about weather right now, you know, whether they can get out there right now in the sleet and the snow, but he assured me that it'd be taken care of, so, you know, it's,
So you asked him to do this?
I asked him to do
before
this.
February?
Well, I said we were our next meeting. So this is kind of the shape, and if we believe there's an encroachment right here, what I asked him to add was a distance from the building to our lot line.
Okay.
Because it could be that the building's here. It could be that the building's here.
Exactly.
We don't actually know.
Okay.
So at the point that we have,
He would show it anyway, right?
yes, I did ask him to show it.
Okay.
So, and that's why this quote is just a little bit more.
Okay.
But I had not signed this quote yet. I did kind of go ahead and authorize work and told him we'd be discussing it at this meeting. So what I do is,
What is number 2, preparation 81 dash?
Oh, that's-
What's that?
to accompany it's a particular type notations on the plan to accommodate conservation.
Okay.
So this will be a plan that's going to the Conservation Commission.
Okay.
So what I'd like is for a motion from you and a second from you
Yep.
to go ahead and formally authorize Mr. Borden to go ahead with the survey.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I hadn't signed it yet and sent it to him, but I did have a conversation with him.
Wasn't the Conservation Board going to pay for that? Weren't they
What we're-
supposed to pay for this?
What we're looking at is they have money, that's not the money they're looking for. I don't believe they have money in an acquisition fund, and they can do a reimbursement.
Got it.
So when we have the survey, the discussion will be about reimbursement for this plan.
Yep.
But this is something we need to do anyway.
Right.
And when we get to this stage, after the plan is drawn, then Kathleen O'Donnell, our attorney, will work with us on preparing the deed and preparing a recordable deed for the Conservation Commission.
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
You used the word.
Can you identify yourself, please?
Yes, Brian Abatello, 15 Wade Street,
Thank you.
Carver. So the question is, use the word contingent, so contingent on what? So if the survey is found that there is an encroachment, will that, you know, stop the whole process of the Conservation Commission taking the property for
It's my understanding, in discussion with the Conservation Commission, that the Conservation Commission cannot accept a parcel and then subdivide it. So if there's an encroachment, then we will, the RDA has to be the one that talked to the abutter who's encroaching. If that becomes the case, that's why I asked the Mr. Borden to go ahead and, if there is an encroachment, then to identify it and mark it. The kind of the loose plan that we've discussed is that then if there is indeed an encroachment, among discussions with ourselves, here's, in discussion with Savory too, it was that the party who has the encroachment, who caused the encroachment, can use our plan to parcel off a little piece that we will sell to them. And then that becomes the second plan, and that's what we donate. We can donate the balance, but the Conservation Commission cannot take the whole thing and then sell a separate piece out of it. So we have to take
Right.
care of the encroachment. If there is an encroachment, then that person will pay for the new plan, or they can move the building off, or they can tear down the building, or they can give us the building and we'll do something with it.
So there'll be options.
There'll be options, but we need to identify one way or the other.
And the sale of the property, if there was such an encroachment, we're not talking about one of these, dollar deals, are we?
$1, you mean?
Yeah.
Just
No.
a legal transfer, we'll
No.
discuss it among ourselves.
Yeah.
Then we have to spend $2,000 or $3,000 to get an appraisal of the cost of the property, of the piece. I mean, the little eminent domain piece that we did.
It was 4,000, well, it's close 4,000, 3,000 and some odd change.
Yeah,
They had to record deeds and the whole thing.
Well, no, just to get the plan, we had to
Oh,
have,
that's
we had to have
right.
appraisals.
Yes, it's right.
They did the plans, but we had to pay for
3,000 stuff.
appraisals.
Yeah.
Okay, I was curious because, it sets precedent for other pieces of property around town. That's
There's,
why I'm
for
asking.
what?
That would set a precedent for other people in this.
Oh, for encroachments?
Around town, why wouldn't I encroach on some piece of property?
If I'm gonna sell it to them for $1?
Wait on it. so-
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's a very good point.
Think about that. The other butter could do the same thing. I got a fence, I'm gonna take a.
And then we'll give it to you for $1?
Yeah, we'll just sell it to you for $1.
Yeah.
On $2,000.
But yeah.
Part of this whole race, really, was that scenario. That's,
But that's a really good point, and we'll keep that in mind once we've identified there's an encroachment and where it is, like I was just drawing, but if the building sits on the property line, then that's a little piece. If it's 5 feet from the property, then it's a little bigger piece, but if it's 25 feet from the property line, then we're talking almost a quarter of an acre.
yeah, if it's an acre and a half.
So that kind of thing, out of 6.32 acres.
Yes, yeah.
Again, it's all up to Mr. Borden.
I just
And-
wanted to clarify that. because-
Yeah, but that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Brian.
Well, that's it, I have nothing else to say. Thank you.
Well, if you see anybody out there, I haven't checked in with him this week. Where are we?
Oh, I have one question on that.
Okay.
The last meeting we had here, when I was telling everybody about the Wade Street and I ticked off the monies, et cetera, that we had spent already, I had made mention about back taxes, because we always pay the back taxes. And in that conversation, I had said to the committee, that I was gonna go back to Kathy Kay and ask her how much the taxes were to be paid on that property. And I guess the second part of the question, which I can't ask because Savory's not here, through Concom, would that be part of the acquisition so that they could, when they acquire it, they would just reimburse us? But I'll give you the money that is owed.
I'll check with Savory, but I'm not sure that if we're transferring from one entity to the other, to a nonprofit, whether it's required to be paid or not. But we'll definitely look into
It's
it.
not a requirement, it's us making it, because Kathy Kay says to me, Joanna, you, part of the RDA, are the only people that come back and give us the money. We don't collect money from we would love to, but we haven't. They have an auction, they don't collect the money. Somebody comes and buys the property, it's from the begin today, whatever. I told you, we established all that when we created our own model way back in 2009, that when we sold the property, we would pay the back
Well,
taxes.
those are part of the MOUs.
Right, but we create them, not.
Right. Well,
So we don't have, and I don't remember, I have to go back now to the MOU on the Wade Street, maybe that's on there.
I'll pull that deed, but thank you for remembering that.
Yeah, maybe it's on the MOU too, and I forgot about it.
So,
But anyway, it's like 16,000, I forgot what it is, I'll tell you. 16,836.17. So it's $16,836.17. So that's the back taxes.
Yes, sir.
So that was part of my question. I was going to ask, but then I was gonna let it drop, but then your question raised the thought, is that if there is an encroachment on this property, go back to that for a second, so wait, if there is an encroachment and it's X amount of space, won't they owe tax for that amount of land that they used? Will there be back tax on that when you figure out what, and like when you go all permitting and making sure it's this from the property, they owe the town money for encroaching on that property,
No, the
right?
title part of it,
No,
it would be
no,
just
the
like
town
90
owned it.
Forest Street. We sold 90 Forest Street. We paid the back taxes because we wanted to. That's us. When DeCicero bought the property, that's what that probably was. That was his piece of the tax that he owed going forward from this time
Oh,
frame.
gotcha.
That's what, I bet you that's what that is.
Oh, right, because that was on the
That was, yep.
settlement sheet. where
Yes,
it was the pro-
exactly, yep.
The pro forma taxes
Right.
for the rest of the year.
Exactly,
Gotcha.
yep.
Okay, can I have that back then?
Okay,
I don't want to lose anything.
there you go.
Thank you. Well, Joanna, that's got to be the quickest you've gotten a question answered from the tax assessor. And if they're watching this, they're probably very
Glad.
grateful. But that's a good point.
Does that answer his question?
No.
No.
But, no.
Because this is an entirely different scenario
Absolutely
from
different,
Forest Street. We're talking about donating this parcel. We're offering the parcel to Concom under their care and custody.
Right, correct.
For essentially no money. They're going to reimburse us our expenses. I don't know the answer about if there is an encroachment. Have they been, I'd have to check their property card to see if they've even been paying taxes on it. The shed that might be out there or not out there, we don't know. But that's,
How long ago did you notice?
that's why
that?
we have an attorney.
That's right. They're paying taxes on the shed that's on their property. I looked at it already. I should have printed it
So
out. I
it's
looked at it
So it's
today.
zoned, okay.
They have a shed on their property, but that's not the shed. The shed that is encroached on our property, if I can use it.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, on our property is a huge shed,
That's what I'm talking about.
I just did
huge,
the walkthrough, so you know where it is.
huge.
I didn't get over to that side.
I thought there was like a whole bunch of people that did a walkthrough on it in December.
It was,
We
it
did.
was the Concom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I arrived on time and everybody
I
was
was
already
there.
down the hill, so.
Yeah, but I was on top of it.
I kind of waited for him to come back, but I wasn't sure where I was.
I mean, we walked on the property, I was there in the initial group of people that, before she came, I was with the other people. We talked about it,
Yeah,
and we talked about selling maybe the little piece,
yeah.
was a recommendation. And the conservation agent said that would be us, while we still own it, would be a good idea to, he showed us his GIS, which showed the property line dimensions we didn't see, but we could see definitely, it wasn't it was there.
But we'll have the survey done and then we'll move forward from that.
Yeah,
And I will ask Kathleen O'Donnell those questions, our attorney.
I mean, it sounds like a fair deal to me, like if you're offering them the opportunity to buy a piece of property rather than have them move their barn if it were to be on the property, as you said, allegedly. So that's a fair deal, but if, like anything else, if it was unreasonable, the conversation got to an unreasonable point where there's an immovable object, then I can understand where you would say, all right, we're gonna have to move that piece of,
Well, those would be the choices.
so.
They'll, if there is indeed an encroachment,
Mhm.
I see it coming down three ways,
Yeah,
one of three ways. They can use our $9,000 survey as a basis and hopefully they'll just hire Art to parcel off a conforming piece because it has to be 10 feet from their property line all the way around.
Yeah.
Because it's a freestanding, so it's got to conform to zoning. If it's not 10 feet from our property line, then I don't know where we're going. Then they have to go for a variance in front of the zoning board. So we'll deal with that when the time comes, but the idea to either have a piece move the barn onto their property, conforming, or tear it down. So,
But I can respect what he's saying, penalty. Otherwise everyone's gonna do it.
yeah.
Yeah, so,
I'm just thinking like when my past experience with this board, being on the board and some of the things I've seen, you know, when the other party becomes obstinate and they say, you know, I'm not gonna, this is where I'm gonna go, let's say with this price, I'm gonna buy it for this, and you're like, no, you're miles away from the number that we're looking at. You know, they had a fair shot to make the situation easy, and if they make it difficult, I understand.
Well, then, I mean,
What happens?
there's legal, yeah, I mean, there's a legal format that we would have to follow. It would be a cease and desist letter, which I believe was once sent to them
Oh, yeah, a while
four
back.
years ago or so. I was still on the board.
Because, you know, my eyes look at it, if I were in that situation, shame on the town for not picking up on it earlier to say you owe taxes on this property, or, you know, get your barn the heck off of this property if it is on it. You know, that's just my opinion, but, you know, you can't go back and say you owe taxes on a piece of property you didn't own because you were encroaching on it. I mean, that's just the
Yeah.
way I would see it. You know, I don't know if that's the law, but, you know.
Well, I would truly encourage them to buy that
Yeah,
sliver.
I'd buy the property if you were gonna.
Exactly.
Pay the taxes.
Exactly.
I'd buy it.
That's basically the best way to go.
So we'll know when Mr. Borden knows, and he will send us what we need to know, and then we'll just move forward from there. So that's another discussion upon receipt of facts. Anything else on Wade Street?
No.
Anybody go sledding over there this past week?
Well, the sled days are over.
Well, I understand kids use it, so. Topics not anticipated by the chair, 48 hours in advance of the meeting. I have nothing. Members' notes, anyone have anything they'd like to add? Joanna? Come on.
No, mostly it was the
Joanna?
website, oh, yeah, I just,
These-
our treasurer is in
Vacation. by
Costa
Brian.
Rica,
Thank you.
lucky him, but he talked about the bank, we talked about the balance. When he comes back, or I would ask you, Sharon, if you're gonna talk to Kathleen O'Donnell, I just want some clarity. That check for $4,000, which came in and he deposited under the urban renewal, it's my understanding that that check should be held by the Carver RDA in a interest-bearing account, which should be our.
The
Yes.
3,000
Somewhat, but
change.
I printed
Okay.
it out, he deposited the check. for
Okay, so check with Kathleen.
4,000, and it must maybe have some else that was in it, but I believe.
Yeah,
we
they gave a $4,000 check, which covered
Deeding and some kind of legal
recording fees,
Yeah.
and there were tax stamps and recording
But the
fees. It came
actual-
out to like 3,900.
Yeah, but the actual money is, in total, just for the people who declare that they're heirs and they have the rights to money, that sum of money has to be held by us, that's my understanding.
So
And
you wanna know-
It should not be in the urban renewal.
It just shouldn't be in our, so
should
you
be
want that in a separate?
Transferred, the money
Okay.
market.
Okay.
But I want it transferred so it's the real amount, like 3,000,
Yeah,
whatever
right
it
off the
is.
deed,
Right, yeah, right,
3,700
right,
and
right.
some change.
I just want some clarity.
Okay, I will get that from Kathleen. And did everyone have a chance to read the minutes from
Yeah.
November 29th?
I
Yeah, I
wasn't there,
did.
so I can't.
Okay.
I think, I didn't
I think
have
an
a
agenda tonight.
correction. What did I
It wasn't
do with
included.
it?
Maybe I didn't send them to you.
I don't know. I must have them wrong too.
I mean, I sent them like a month ago.
Oh, yeah,
But you don't have a quorum, Roger's not gonna vote.
I can't.
Housekeeping things you can kind
I
of,
guess the question is, some point in time, we're supposed to go to the selectmen and give them our check for the forestry?
oh, we haven't done that yet?
No,
Okay.
no.
They're busy right now. I know that the FinCom would probably greatly appreciate it, so we should probably bring it to them on Saturday. Since we don't have a quorum, we will hold the approval of the meeting minutes of November 29th to the next meeting.
Right. The next meeting, are we talking about the next meeting already?
Yep.
I forgot my book, so go ahead
You're
anytime.
gonna stay consistent with the third week of the month?
Oh, I'd like to.
So that would bring us to the 21st. That is school vacation week. I don't know if it impacts anybody.
No.
Only if I'm babysitting.
21st, huh? That's the.
Oh, you have kids. So. Do you know when Concom meets? We usually meet the same week as Concom.
I can tell you.
They have a meeting on the 1st, so they have a meeting on the 15th. So I'm not going to meet on.
They meet, the 15th is on a Wednesday, is it? That's when
Yeah,
they meet?
if they meet the 1st, they meet the 1st and 3rd, so they're going to meet the 1st and the 15th, but I'm not going to meet on Valentine's Day.
They meet on what day of the week?
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Okay, so it would be the 1st and the 15th, yeah. They're not on the calendar yet, but
Yeah. And Savory's not here to tell me. I can go to the 21st.
Okay.
I think we were just waiting because he's
Oh.
with the kids.
I don't have anything scheduled yet, but I don't know what's gonna happen in the next few weeks, so let's book it now.
Well, we'll book it now and then. So I'll tell Savory, so 6:30 still good?
So what's the actual date, please?
21st.
Oh, okay. 6:30 is fine. Okay.
And we're holding over the minutes, so is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We have a quorum for that. Thank you.
7:25.